Hello, this is Colin Goebel. This is the fourth and final step in the series of recordings about how to develop a platform game with GameMaker. If I play the game, just to remind you, at the top of that set of platforms we have Luigi going back and forth, and Luigi is throwing Koopas left and right at random as it turns out. And so let's discuss how that's done. Okay, Luigi himself is pretty straightforward. There are two animated images, Luigi running right, which is of course right here if we edit that, and Luigi running left, which I don't need to show you. So there's Luigi. Initially, it turns out Luigi is running left. He's visible and not solid. When Luigi is created, I have him moving in the left direction at a speed of 3. Luigi needs to remember what direction he's moving in because the Koopas go in the same direction Luigi's going in. So we have a variable called Luigi direction, which has a value of 180. Remember, 180 in GameMaker represents the direction right to left. And these Coopers are set off at various times, but I'm going to have the first one set off 30 frames or 1 second into the game. So we're going to set an alarm, alarm 0, which will go off after, excuse me, after 30 game steps, and there are 30 game steps per second. Now, every time Luigi hits the stop icon, stop is an object here. It's a solid object, but it's not visible, so the user doesn't actually see it. But you can see in the game that it is in fact present. It's right here in the room. So over here, at the end of both sides, there's a stop object in the designer. Okay, the stop object, which is invisible, is associated with just a sprite here that says stop. As it turns out, it doesn't really matter what the sprite says. Again, we've got precise collision checking turned off. And notice that what happens is when Luigi collides with the stop icon, if Luigi direction is equal to 0, that means he's going left to right. So we set the variable to 180 because he goes the other way, right to left. We change the sprite into Luigi running left at subimage 0 so that it again animates. And that's all we do. Else, if Luigi's direction is not equal to 0, it must be equal to 180. In that case, we set Luigi direction to 0. We change the sprite into, as you can see, into SPR Luigi run right, which changes the sprite round to the other way. So having done all that, we reverse Luigi's horizontal direction. If he's going left to right, he's now going right to left and vice versa. If the alarm goes off, then we create a Koopa. And the only thing that's interesting here is if Luigi is going right to left, then the Koopa needs to go right to left. And if Luigi is going left to right, then the Koopa needs to go left to right. So we're going to create the Koopa at the same point that Luigi is. X, Y are both 0 relative to Luigi, because we're working with Luigi here. We'll make the Koopa go at a speed of 3, and the direction of the Koopa is the same as the direction that Luigi is currently going. And what we'll do then is we'll set an alarm to 15 plus some random number between 0 and 29. So the effect of that is that the Koopa will be released at random any time between half a second, 15 game frames at the minimum, and roughly 45 game frames or a second and a half at the maximum. So the Koopas are randomly generated, but on average occurring once every second in the game. Okay, the Koopa themselves look exactly like a rock, essentially, and I won't go through this code again. The Koopa's behavior is just like a rock. They kind of bounce down on the walls under the influence of gravity, and they're destroyed once they move outside the room. And basically, that's all there is to it. So as you see now, Mario bops around. We move across here. Luigi, those Koopas are generated at random, and they bounce off the platform. and so on. Now, obviously, to extend this game, we need to have some collisions between rocks and Koopas and Mario, and somehow Mario has to be able to destroy Luigi, and we need to control the number of lives that Mario has and the health and so on and so forth. But I didn't want to get into any of that with this particular demonstration. What I was concerned with here was to show how you might animate a scene and animate a platform scene. The only thing that I haven't really covered, and I should cover it now, is how to get the background to scroll as we're doing there. And the trick to that is to go into the room at level 1 and go to the tab mark. Well, for the first thing that we need to do here is under settings, you'll notice that I've made the width of the room much wider than the width of the screen. So the view, I've enabled the use of views. I'm using view 0. View 0 is visible when the room starts. And initially, view 0 just shows me 0 to 6, a width of 640 and a height of 480. That's the visibility of the view on the bigger game world. So if you want to think of it this way, you can think of this being the game world, 1272 pixels wide. The user's view, however, is only half that, 640 pixels wide. I didn't make this thing scroll in the vertical direction, just in the horizontal direction. Now, the object that we want the view to follow is Mario. As Mario moves around the scene, we want our camera, if you will, to follow Mario. And the Game Maker software makes it true that it always maintains a horizontal border. In other words, it never lets Mario get closer than 128 pixels to the edge of the view. So that's how we do it. The view is 0. It's visible when the room starts. That's the view the user's seeing. The view is only 640 pixels wide. The game world is 1280 pixels wide. And the camera that defines the view is programmed to follow Mario and never let Mario get closer than 128 pixels to the side of the game, to the side of the view. Let's see. The objects we've looked at, I just talked about views. The settings we looked at, the name, there's the width. And so that's about it. And there's our game. I hope you enjoyed seeing how it was put together. I hope you can also see we can have a lot of fun with this, turning this into quite an exciting game. And I'll leave that for you if you choose to go with a platformer for one of your projects this term. Thank you.